Dear Diary, so unfortunately, we didn't last long in Europe this year at Linfield, but it was good to get a taste of the continental action. Off the back of those defeats, I took charge of a few friendlies prior to the start of the domestic season, and despite picking up wins, it became apparent that the 4-4-2 wing play wouldn't be suitable here. So instead, we have switched to a 4-2-3-1 fluid counter-attacking style, and it has paid dividends, winning all of our games so far. We are top of the league, albeit LAN have been busy in Europe up until recently, so still have quite a few games in hand. Looks like my new signings have settled in well. We're about to end August with the Bel Classico at Glentoran. We did well in the limited derby games when I was at Banbridge Town, so hopefully that continues at Linfield. This is a step up from what we have taken on so far domestically though. Hopefully we remain unbeaten. Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 22 of FMOE here on Shaun Does FM with Linfield, and coming up today is the Bel Classico as we take on Glentoran in our first derby here at Linfield. So if you're looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but as you would have seen through the diary intro, we have started off the domestic season off the back of what happened yesterday in the second qualifying round of the Conference League. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. And we have got off to a good start thanks to two factors, I would say, the first of which being a change in formation. We'll get to that soon, but as well as that, of course, we have had a little bit more time to change the squad here at Linfield off the back of just entering those European qualifiers not too long after we did take on the job. So it does mean we have done quite a bit of transfer activity in between yesterday and today's episode. So a quick look at the players that we have signed. Not all of these players are going to be first team regulars, so we'll just have a quick look at some of these players. But we've signed 4 players for the first team on permanent free transfers, and the other signing actually took me longer than it probably should have to realise it, considering how similar the badges are between the two clubs. But Rangers are an affiliate of us here at Linfield, so we did get one of their players in on loan as well to help out for the rest of this season. So in terms of first team players, we signed Mazid Agumbo. He is a young centre-back who is Irish, 21 years old. He has 2.5-star current ability and 5-star potential, albeit only 4 of those are gold, and recently has spent time at Arsenal. In fact, all of his time really at Arsenal to start off his career. Had a loan spell in League 2 with Crawley Town, so hopefully he will prove a useful backup for us over the season, and when needed will be quite useful with that experience at a top tier Premier League club. As I mentioned, Aaron Lyle comes in from Rangers on loan as a winger come central attacking midfielder. That is a position we have had to go and search for a little bit off the back of us changing our formation to a 4-2-3-1. So the young Rangers man comes in to provide some squad depth, and off the back of that, free transfers in the last week of this transfer window, which does end off the back of this game that we are about to play against Glentoran. The first of those is actually a player who was homegrown at club because he has spent some time previously at Linfield. That is Ross McCausland, 21-year-old winger who can also play in those central positions and up front. 3.5-star current ability and 4.5-star potential, is really pushing for a first team spot here, albeit initially is going to be a bench/squad player for us, and he spent time at Rangers off the back of one season here back in 2018-19, so that is quite a good pickup, I think, on a free transfer. And alongside that, we have Bobby Jack McAleese, who has gone out on loan to the Dungannon Swifts, who are also in the Premiership here in Northern Ireland. We got him because he was quite talented looking and young at 19 years old with 2.5-star current ability and that 5-star potential. So we signed him on a free and sent him straight out on loan, so you won't see any of him this season. And Brian Okonwo goes into our reserve team. He is a young goalkeeper. We also signed on a free transfer, trying to build up some players who in the future, if we spend a long time here, can become both homegrown club and in Nation an English 18-year-old 2-star current ability and 5-star potential, and he also has spent his career up until now at Arsenal, so another pretty good get for us here at Linfield, and that does round out the transfers that we are probably going to do in this window in terms of the incomings. As you can see on the right hand side, we have loaned out a few more players, but no one who was going to get much first team football anyway with the change in formation that we have made, and that is the next point that we need to discuss before we do get into this Bel Classico derby. We have switched to a 4-2-3-1 counter-attacking system. That is off the back of me playing a few friendlies off the back of yesterday's episode. If we bring those back up, you will see that we did win those games over Hearts B and the Ballymacash Rangers, but not in overly convincing fashion, especially that second game, only by 2-1 against the team from down in the Championship. I thought we should be beating teams like that a bit more comfortably, so that is what did result in that change in formation, and as you can see, the results since then have been a lot better, so I definitely think that was the way to go. It's a tactical style I am somewhat familiar with, having used it in a 4-3-3 over on Twitch with St. Mirren, so it's not really a tactic I've used with a team that were favoured to win the league, but it was one that our assistant manager did suggest with this type of formation with the players available to us here at Linfield, and so far it does seem to be working. So as you can see, a lot of the players are quite similar to what we did have in that team for those European qualifiers, but just a few more additions of some signings that we have made over the past few episodes. Those include Kemi Logan coming in at right back, as well as that the player that we signed from Lincoln City and Poldy O'Connor, he goes to centre back. Both Shields and Palmer are now playing as defensive midfielders because Jordan Stewart drops from being a deep lying forward to an attacking midfielder, with us now only playing one striker, and that does leave Robbie McDade as our first choice striker in that advanced forward role, but not too many changes there, only 2 from the team which did take part in those qualifiers in yesterday's episode. And as you can see now, our bench does look a little bit stronger with the likes of Jake Kane on there, the player that we did sign from Liverpool, Charlie Sayers, and also some other players who were already here at the club and had some decent ability. And going down a little bit further, you can see a few more of those players as well who will make their way onto the bench. Most notably, McCausland should definitely be in there instead of someone like Kirk Miller. But now we have decent squad depth here at Linfield, and hopefully that means we can live up to our billing on the season preview as the favourites for this premiership title. And as you would have seen through the intro, we have made a good start, but today it is our toughest test of the season so far, the Bel Classico derby, as we take on Glentoran, also from Belfast, same reputation club, just one that is not predicted to do as well as we are in the premiership this season. Also their training facilities, youth facilities and youth recruitment, not quite as good as ours. They are not in a continental competition, so hopefully we can keep the wood over these guys and try and remain the biggest club here in Belfast. You saw our team there before, so we don't need to run through that. And we'll come back shortly from the Bet McLean Oval as we play our first derby here at Linfield, the Bel Classico, taking on Glentoran. And only a few minutes into this one, we have our first highlight. It did look like we were in possession there in the blue with the white shorts, but we do get it back there. Glentoran are in the green with the black shorts, and we are on the attack here. Good early chance for Fallon, but unfortunately hits that straight into the path of Weber, and that's the first highlight down. But now we go down the other end for a free kick to Glentoran. It does get blocked, and Johns does come out to claim it. They are playing a 5-3-2 with a DM and wingback, so it is quite a solid looking defensive formation. Hopefully we can break it down. Bit of a loose touch there from Noel Quinn, but it does recover well to get that ball back, albeit has to play it all the way back to Johns in goal, albeit he's gone on a bit of an adventure. But we now hoof this deep, looking for Fallon. Bit of a fortunate bounce there, and now Logan will play that one up for Fallon. Good chance to square this here for McDade. That is a big chance, but yet again Weber with a good save. Some good early chances for us there, but still nil, all coming up to the 10-minute mark. And about 10 minutes off the back of those opening couple of highlights, it is a free kick here for Glentoran, but they hoof that deep, and Logan does play that across goal, puts old Johns there in a little bit of trouble. Thankfully he clears it, but it does give Glentoran here the ball in quite a dangerous position, albeit good work there from Niall Quinn, and we can try and get on the attack here. Shields finds a bit of space in the midfield and now switches that over to Logan on the right hand side. Kemi Logan, what can he do here in one of his first games on camera since he did join the club. Plays that one up for Fallon. He puts a ball in the mixer yet again for McDade, but again, this time he actually misses the target. A few good chances for him early in this game, but still 0-0. And shortly off the back of that previous highlight is now a free kick in our favour. Niall Quinn puts this far post, looking for one of our centre-backs. It does get cleared, but Fallon yet again puts the ball into the mixer. This time McDade can't put his head on the end of it, but Shields will put this one in the mixer. Fallon will hit the post, and somehow Glentoran clear that off the Alliance early doors here. It is all Linfield in this one, but still 0-0 at the half-hour mark. And a few minutes before half-time, we have one more highlight here in this first half. Potentially it is cleared there from the Glentoran goalkeeper, but Logan starts to make his way down this right-hand side, and now on the edge of the box, squares that one for Palmer, but unfortunately misses the target yet again. So it does feel like most of the highlights in this first half have been in our favour, but unfortunately for now, no benefit of that. The scoreline does remain 0-0 at half-time. As you can see, absolutely bossing this game so far. Glentoran have got a couple of shots off, but none on target. We've had a few really good chances, especially in some of those early highlights through McDade, but unfortunately a goalkeeper made a few good saves. We're going to make one change here at half-time. Cammy Logan picked up a yellow card late in that first half. We'll take him off and make sure that Matty Lund can come on so he can get some tackles in out at right back, but pretty happy with that first half. Just need to put the ball in the back of the old onion bag as we get things back underway, locked up at 0-0. And a few minutes into the second half, the first highlight looks like it might again be in our favour. It's a throw-in inside the final third. Shields just holds this one up here, not too far from the byline. Does quite well here to keep Glentoran off of the ball. Now Palmer just holds things up here outside of the box, albeit bit of a loose touch from him there, and Burns will try and get them going on the counter-attack, but good work there from Niall Quinn to get the ball back for us, albeit we try and play a ball forward there to McDade. We don't get it, and then O'Connor with a bit of a mistake, so a chance here for Parkhouse, but thankfully blast that one over the bars of Glentoran with their first decent chance of this game. I think it is fair to say early in the second half, and right off the back of that, we are shown the goal kick, and yet again Glentoran are looking a little bit more dangerous here in the second half. McCartan tries to put that one in the top left corner. It just goes over the bar, so it's still 0-0 here, about 10 minutes into the second half, and time for the Mark Richardson. Because Niall Quinn has picked up an injury, thankfully. We've got decent depth now at left back, but it is not an ideal situation early in the second half. Charlie Sayers will come on for him, still locked up at 0-0. And just past the hour mark with our next highlight in this game, it does look like it's a free kick here for Glentoran. They put that one into the mixer. They get it back right on the edge of the box. Put that far post, and apparently Parkhouse there has been pushed by Cooper, and it gives Glentoran here the chance to snatch the lead in this one, albeit to be fair to them, they have looked quite good so far in the second half, and unfortunately he puts that one away to his Parkhouse. I think our goalkeeper went the right way. We'll see it shortly from a different camera angle, but after all that dominance in the first half, Glentoran get a penalty. In fact, I was completely wrong there. He goes right down the middle, and it makes it 1-0 Glentoran here with only 20 minutes left, and it does feel like that would be a bit of a harsh result. We're going to make some changes. Stewart and O'Connor down to red hearts, so a Gumbo as well as McCausland will come on for those two, and hopefully we can work our way back into this one in our first Bel Classico. And only a few minutes off the back of those changes, off the back of that penalty to Glentoran, we're going to make our last one here. Joel Cooper on a 6.4 has just picked up a yellow card. Jake Kane will come on for him. We've got just under 20 minutes left to try and find an equaliser. And shortly off the back of that last substitution, we are back down near end here for a throw-in, and this time we do keep the ball. Palmer plays this one back to Logan. We get that out to the left-hand side to Sayers, who did come on off of the bench for the injured Niall Quinn. Kane tries to put that one into the mixer, but McCulloch does do well to control it, albeit we get that ball back. Fallon with a long shot will rocket that into the top right corner. It's probably the toughest shot we've taken on in this entire game, but he puts it in the top right corner, and we get an equaliser, which it feels like is well and truly deserved, especially off the back of that first half performance. It's a terrible pass there. I think that was from Patterson, and McCausland shuffles that one onto Fallon puts that top right corner, and we grab an equaliser with 15 minutes left, albeit right off the back of that, we do get shown the kickoff, so hopefully we do not suffer a misery compiler off the back of that one, or we can actually do a misery compiler. We do get the ball back there, and McCausland now will try and get us on the attack yet again. McDade tries to play a ball forward there for Fallon. It's a tight angle, but unfortunately hits that one straight into the path of Weber, trying to beat him from a tight angle. It looks like we're going to get shown this corner though, as Kane will put this one hopefully in towards the near post. He goes far looking for McDade, but unfortunately no one can get their head on the end of that. Kane is offside from that play, and still 1-1 with just over 10 minutes left. And as I was about to wrap that up, we have another corner here. This time we go near post. No one gets their head on the end of that, but now Patterson might get a chance here for Glentoran on the counter-attack. McLean nearly gets the ball pinched off him there by Kane. They play a ball over the top and do keep it now. Murray is in possession. We'll play this one out to Reitman on their right-hand side, and they play that one back now to McCulloch as they start to camp themselves here inside of our own half. Murray will just hold things up here. Brighton puts that one into the mixer. Lund there misses a tackle, which he should be making. And Connor McMenamin, not too long off the back of us, equalising in this one, puts Glentoran back in front. I need to watch this one again, because I think Matty Lund should have got that ball. I think it's fair to say here. Back to goal. He comes up. He tries to tackle him. Levitates for his body, I think, and that ball finds its way into the bottom left corner, and with only a few minutes left, it is 2-1 Glentoran, albeit as I was about to try and wrap things up and maybe just change something here in terms of our mentality. We are back on the attack again. Palmer plays the ball over the top for McDade, but unfortunately he was offside, and it's still 2-1 with only a few minutes left. And just catching my breath there, and we do have that highlight that was about to start off the back of that previous one. It is a throw in our favour. Shields will play this one forward to McDade, who has not hit the target too much today, but now McCausland makes his way into the box, but unfortunately pretty much scoops that one straight into the path of Weber in goal for Glentoran. And just as we are about to enter injury time in this game, it is still 2-1 in Glentoran's favour. We are going to go on the attack a little bit more. As you can see, we did, in amongst all those highlights before, switch to an attacking mindset, and now it's time for us to put a few more bodies in a bit more of a positive mentality. But we have entered injury time in this game, and unfortunately, kind of feels like we've been FM there, especially when you look at the left-hand side. They had 2 shots on target that entire game, and they scored both of them, albeit one of them was a big chance from the penalty spot. In the end, we needed to take our chances more in that first half, because we certainly had the better of that half. The second half was a little bit more even, but we gave away a penalty, and also Matty Lund somehow didn't get the ball off their striker there. He put it away, so despite the fact we grabbed an equaliser in the 77th minute for a good goal there through Stephen Fallon, we lose our first derby of the save in our first game of the domestic season, 2-1 to Glentoran in the Bel Classico. So a really frustrating result for us there in our first derby of the save. As you can see, it's also called the Belfast Big 2 Clash, but I think we can all agree Bel Classico does sound a little bit better, but it does really feel like there we did get a little bit FM'd. When you look at all those stats, most of them were in our favour. We probably deserve something from that game, but nothing to panic about too much in terms of the tactic. I think we actually played quite well, just need to be a little bit better in front of goal, I think it is fair to say. Especially that first half, we should have gone into the sheds with an advantage, but it was not to be, albeit we are still on top of the table. But now things have closed up quite a bit. As you can see, a few teams there do still have games in hand. Crusaders could go above us with a win in their next game, and also Larne have just got back from some European qualifying to start their season. They could certainly catch us up. Could the defending champions here in Northern Ireland? And back to the inbox before we do wrap things up for today's episode. A quick update on Niall Quinn. He is going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks, or actually 3 to 4 weeks, with a twisted ankle. So we need to send him to the physio, make sure that gets sorted out. And while he is out, that does mean that Charlie Sayers will step up into that left back spot in the first team. So unfortunately, our first loss there of the domestic season in our first derby here at Linfield. But as I said, don't think there's too much there to panic about. As you can see, it is also transfer deadline day. We're not going to get rid of anyone who is in and around the first team, and it looks like it's mostly loan offers for the other players anyway. So if we need to update you guys on that in tomorrow's episode, we will do that, but I don't think we are going to be signing anyone to add to our squad. It's already pretty well balanced. We do have £248 a week wage left, and that probably isn't enough for us to get a player in who can change things too much here at Linfield. But if you did enjoy today's episode, that first one of the domestic season, losing that Bel Classico, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. We'll come back tomorrow and round off the week with another pretty big game in terms of the Premiership, smack bang in the middle of September, and hopefully we can get the wood over the team that have won the Premiership the last few seasons here in Northern Ireland in the Save universe, and that is Larne. It's a team we are familiar with from having played them back at Banbridge Town in some cup competitions. Obviously hard to get too much of a line on them this season as they are still playing catch up domestically, but obviously being the defending champions, a team which are going to prove quite hard to beat, especially away from home, as that game in tomorrow's episode is the tomorrow we will take on Larne in the Premiership. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.